What's up, y'all? Can y'all hear me? Am I on? I don't think. 1, 2. Looks like I'm on. Audio's good. Thank you. What's up, y'all? I just jumped on here randomly. Crown Jewels Music Group. What's up? DJ K Swift. Peace, peace. Got a few things to talk about today. I'm gonna wait a second and let some people get on. BDP from 86. Word. 1, 2, 3, the crew. New Mexico citizen? Damn, New Mexico. Oh, we on the other side of the country. I'm in the New York area. Jungle Doctor, what's good? Just realized you hit 10K subscribers. Nice job. Thanks, man. Channel's moving along. I appreciate everybody who subscribed. Like I said in my last live, this channel's not going to be for everybody. And that's on purpose, actually. We'll get to that in a minute. Please play one of our songs, Crown Jewels Music Group. Well, I can't play it now. I barely know how to work this thing, but if you send it to me, maybe I'll play it next time. Someone says, fluffy toenails and dragon breath. That's funny. Peace out, yo. What's up? You guys didn't celebrate 30 years anniversary of Human Education Against Lies album. Wow, it's been 30 years. He said, Daryl's on here. What's up, Daryl? Oh, my goodness. You actually got a YouTube? Bugging. DJ K Swift, is there any BDP merch like tees? Yeah, on KRS-One's Instagram page, I think it's the teacher _ KRS-One. They're selling a bunch of merchandise on here. Would you ever get Chris on here live? I'm working on it. He's actually in the New York area right now. Peace. What happened with Heather B deal with EMI? Things just dissolved, man. Actually, I'm not really sure about that. I wasn't part of the management discussions on that. But things happen. Wish you and Heather B would hook up again. Maybe one day in the future. Spook One asked that question. DJ Kaz, what is your opinion of the verses between KRS-One and Kane? I was there. I thought it was dope. Apparently being there live was a little bit different than how you guys saw it on the watching it on the computer or whichever which way you watched it. But I enjoyed it. Crowd was rocking. It was dope. Shout out to Kane. Shout out to Chris. Perry Thompson, peace. President and CEO of Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society. Dope. Wonder if I can make this bigger. Hold on, y'all. Ah, there it is. I suck so bad at this live thing. Salute for making sure the history of hip-hop is being put down for the future. Word, thank you very much. That is the purpose of this channel, is we're documenting everything. Like I said before, once we're gone, the history is gone. And, this is the 50th anniversary of hip-hop coming up. And they're going to be studying hip-hop for 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. They're going to go back and they're going to look at everything. And they're going to try to, what was going on in the 80s? What was going on in the 90s? So I'm trying to give my input on what I saw. And even you guys' feedback. People are going to be studying, well, what did the people think of what they did and said? So all of this exchange right here is being documented for 300 years from now. Shout out to the people 300-400 years from now studying hip hop. Let me go back and see if I can look at some of this. I used to receive some pirate radio station in Long Island Sunday mornings. Uh-oh, this is moving so fast. Let me go back. This thing is flying. I've been to 7 KRS shows and haven't heard one track from my favorite BDP album, Sex and Violence. Why is that? That's a question you have to ask KRS. We got so many songs that we have to get to in a short period of time. I'm going to do a whole breakdown on sex and violence coming up. It's going to be kind of a long one. I know some people be complaining about the length of the videos, but like I said, this channel is not going to be for everyone because I like to get into all the details. So I'm going to do a full breakdown of sex and violence because that is the one album that I know back and front, all the stuff that I did. Mad Bent was the joint. Shout out to Heather B. Peace. Sir L'Oreal. Am I saying it right? Peace. Did you tour with Eric B and Rakim? BDP toured with Eric B and Rakim before I was down in like 88. I started DJing the beginning of 1990, but we did mad shows with Eric B and Rakim, ton of shows. I've probably seen Rakim perform like 30 times. Peace, Brother Parker, to you and your brother KRS-One. With 50th birthday of hip hop, how can we effectively end the mumble rap? DJ J Nice. We can't end mumble rap. Only this generation can end mumble rap when I guess they get tired of it. You know, this is their stuff. I saw a quote one time that said, every generation needs their own heroes. And it's true. You know, our generation, we had the guys that we looked up to and we loved. This generation right now, if you're 18, 19, 20, this is the guys that they love, the mumble rap guys. So until they decide, you know what, I would like to hear clearly what someone has to say at some point, it's here to stay. Somebody wrote, Ish, I just read 136 pages of your book today. It's crazy you're live today. Thank you very much. Let me plug the book real quick. I actually have it right here. My brother's name is Kenny, the greatest true hip hop story ever told. If you don't got it, go pick it up. It's the history of my family and the origin of KRS-One and BDP, plus a bunch of stories in there. Pick it up if you get a chance. Get the likes up. I don't know how. So Shadow World LLC just copped it off Amazon. Thank you so much for picking up the book. Thanks to anybody who's picked up the book. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy it. RB Santana, I got mine as well. Thank you so much. Jungle Doctor, will KRS address Scott Rock Jr.? That's a KRS-One question. I can't get into that. Although, like I said in my last live, there's a lot more to that story. But I'm not going to get into that. I can't get into that. I'm hoping to be working with Perry Thompson. I'm hoping to be working with him this year for the 50th year hip hop culture at 1520 Cedric Avenue. He is putting together an exhibition at 1520 Cedric Avenue. Yes, Chris has been putting that together probably since last year. And if you guys pick up the book, you know that we used to live next door. Shout out to Cool Herc. Anonymous tip. Hello, Kenny. This is really not an important question, but was curious if KRS-One and BDP caught wind of those Tweety Bird Loke disses from 1992 and again in 94. No, I never heard about Tweety Bird Loke. You know, over the years, you know, we've had so many, what's I'm call the word, beefs from different variations, from subliminal to confrontations to battles, dozens of them that people don't know about. And I'm going to speak about some of them in the future. Some of them I'm just going to leave alone. But speaking on that, some of these groups, I never even heard of them. If Chris heard of them, you know, you can't really comment on everybody that says stuff. You know, I saw an interesting quote the other day. Somebody asked Run from Run-DMC, How come you never addressed KRS-One back in the Criminal Minded days when he was taking shots at you? And Run said, I heard the stuff that KRS-One was saying, but at the time, Run-DMC was doing arenas and Boogie Down Productions was doing clubs. And so basically, Run-DMC was too big to even address BDP. If they had even mentioned KRS-One's name, they would have elevated KRS-One to Run-DMC status. So they chose to just ignore it, which is smart from a business perspective, looking back on it. So I guess, a lot of times we take the same stance with certain groups. So some of these people, I never even heard of them. I don't even know why they would diss, but it is what it is. Let me rewind this back a little bit. Midas Apprentice. What was the beef with BDP and X-Clan PRT? That's probably been the number one question that I've gotten on my video that I did about PM Dawn and KRS-One. The number one question is, well, why didn't they step to X-Clan? Why didn't they step to PRT? Why didn't they say something to Ice Cube? And like I mentioned in my last live, the answer to that question was all three of those groups is a whole story that I chose not to get into. I didn't get into it in that video because I was trying to get to the PM Dawn story. So I just kind of alluded to the fact that there was beef with X-Clan and PRT, not really beef with Ice Cube. That wasn't really no beef. That was just like a little disagreement that KRS-One and Ice Cube spoke about. I wasn't privy to that conversation. That was a little above my pay grade, but I heard about it. But I can't even speak on KRS-One and Ice Cube because I wasn't part of that conversation. I just heard about it, and it was all good, which is a good thing. I really want to. I wasn't going to really talk too much about beefs. I mean, I'm going to get into them in future things, but I've gotten so many comments, and y'all don't even know. I've got a lot of nasty comments. There's been people cursing at me, calling me out of my name. I got a kidnapping threat all over the PM Dawn video. A whole bunch of stuff. Which I'm not worried about a kidnapping threat. I mean, I take everything seriously, but I'm not that easy to kidnap. Anyway, I really, I think I'm going to get into some beef right now. Let me break down some beef for y'all. Hold on, I see y'all have a lot of questions, but I'm going to address this. Hold on, because when I first was seeing all of the comments about BDP and we were scared of X-Clan and we were scared of PRT and all that stuff, my first reaction was I should comment on this and tell people the behind the scenes. But then I was like, I'm just gonna leave it like that for a while. But then I realized the purpose of me doing this channel was to inform people. And apparently there's a lot of people with a lot of misconceptions about hip hop. And my purpose that I want to come to you guys is to spread some truth. There's a lot of bullshit on the internet, and a lot of people talking about a lot of things and then making up a lot of stuff. But I want to peel back some of the layers and let you guys see what's really behind the curtain. A lot of what you guys see in videos and read in magazines is not real. A lot of the groups that you see that you think are super gangster because y'all watch the videos, they are nothing like that in real life. Trust me when I tell you. A lot of the guys that y'all think are hard, and y'all think that, if I'm going to use my group, for example, if we see them that, we'd be very scared. In real life, a lot of those guys be like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? I love you guys. Here's my number. Call me. That's how they sound in real life. And then when you see later on, they be on TV or they be in the magazines like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna do this, I was gonna do that, I was gonna bust my gun and blah blah blah. But in real life, they be waving and hugging. It's nothing like you guys think. And you know, I see some guys making comments on my channel about how they know how certain things would have turned out based on what they see in videos. And I'm like, wow, a lot of people really don't understand show business. It's all an illusion. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get a little even deeper. If y'all got time, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people be saying, I'll be going too long, but I really want to get into some beef. I want to give you guys some insight on some things that I've seen, not heard, beef that I've seen. Okay. Let's start with behind the scenes. There's a lot of people behind the scenes in groups, a lot of street dudes behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. They don't get no shout outs in any records. They don't be in any videos, but they be around groups and everybody in New York City who's from the street. So this is any group in any era, but I'm going to speak about New York City in my time. A lot of these guys be affiliated with a lot of these groups, and a lot of people know each other from the streets. So a lot of times when you see beefs and battles, a lot of stuff be going on behind the scenes, and a lot of it be potentially really dangerous. Some real dangerous individuals be behind the scenes beefing over rappers beefing on record. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of beefs because I've seen, you know, what be going on behind the scenes. Like you'll see, we all know what happened with Biggie and Pac. That's a classic example of two artists beefing, but behind the scenes, there was other gangsters involved. But even a beef like Jay-Z and Nas, I know for a fact that there was a lot more going on behind the scenes than just the record Ether and Takeover. A lot more things were going on behind the scenes. Let me give you guys an example. Somebody asked me about Eric B and Rakim, right? Rakim is one of the most beloved artists of all time. I love him. You love him. We all love him. Conscious, incredible lyricist, icon. Have you guys ever flipped over the back of the Paid in Full album and looked at the back cover? Not the front with Eric B and Rakim with the jewelry and the money. The back, there's a group of guys on the back of that album. For those of you that don't know, those were some of the most notorious gangsters in New York City history on the back of that album. One of them even have documentaries about them. Another one of them has a whole mural on the side of a building in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, that's been there. I've seen this mural for over 25 years, and no one has ever dared even touch this mural. The man's been gone for 25 years and people haven't touched it. That's how revered this dude was in the streets. There's a bunch of them on the back of the Rakim album. Now, somebody decided, Rakim, he's about peace. I'm going to run up on Rakim and battle him. Not knowing what was going on, they would have ran up on Rakim. And believe me when I tell you, that would have been a fatal mistake. Matter of fact, let me tell you something that I saw with my own two eyes. I was outside in front of a club once in the early 90s. And this dude came out of a club and he was drunk and he was loud and he was talking mad junk and he just started dissing all rappers. He was just naming names. F this rapper, F that rapper, F this rapper. He was just cursing in the street. I'm standing looking at him. He just rattling off rappers. And then the dude said, F Rakim. And out of nowhere, one of the guys from the back of that album cover came out of the shadows and caught this dude. Pow! Knocked him to the ground. The guy got up and started screaming, ah! And ran down the block. I was standing right there. I didn't even know the guy was there. And I saw him. I'm cool with the guy. I said, yo, what's up? Dude was like, I was just waiting for him to say Rakim. I saw this. One of the guys that was on the back of that album cover. And I say all that to say, you wouldn't even be thinking about that Rakim like that, but that's just one example of people that be in the what's the word I want to use? Vicinity of rap groups. Let me give you another example. And the reason I'm gonna bring up this example is because I see a lot of people saying that oh, y'all rushed PM Dawn. PM Dawn was soft. PM Dawn was the softest dude out. Now, I'm not condoning that whole PM Dawn incident. The reason why I made that video was to tell you guys exactly what I saw. That's it. You can make up your own mind whether we should or shouldn't have done it. You're talking 30 years ago. I mean, you know, people are like completely different people now as they were 30 years ago. But it happened. But I want to bring up an example because a lot of people on my comment section knows about PM Dawn's character, never met the man, don't know him, don't know BDP, probably don't know anybody in rap, but they know what this guy was like based on how he was dressed and his music. Have y'all ever heard about the group called New Edition? Remember that group, Candy Girl? You Are My World, straight R&B group. Did you know they had beef with Guy, the singing group Guy, back in '88? Now, this is common knowledge. This is actually in the newspaper. And I saw Teddy Riley speaking on Vlad TV, and he was talking about this whole beef and how New Edition and Guy got into a beef over one of the groups. I think one of the groups stayed on stage too long over the other group's time. This is R&B. And the manager of Guy, singing R&B group, was named Gene Griffin. For those of you don't know, rest in peace, Gene Griffin. He was considered a gangster, and he's the guy. Suge Knight used to be under his wing when Suge Knight first started doing security. This is the guy who taught Suge Knight the music business. These guys sent an army from New York to the tour to beef with New Edition, and unfortunately, somebody got killed in this beef. This is R&B. If I'd have told you that somebody had beef with Guy, you'd have been like, oh, y'all beefing with Guy, them dudes are soft. No, they weren't. As a matter of fact, let me tell you what I saw. One time I was coming out of the Apollo Theater, early 90s. And apparently, Aaron Hall had gotten some beef with some dudes in front of the Apollo. Now I'm coming out the Apollo and I see Aaron Hall. Apparently he left and came back with a pit bull on a chain, a big pit bull, look like one of them pit bulls that be in the cartoons. He came back with a pit bull and was coming down the street, and everybody was running, including myself, jumping out of the way of this pit bull. And Aaron Hall is going, what's up now? What's up now? And he's cursing, and he's coming to sick this pit bull on these dudes that was beefing in front of the Apollo. This is Aaron Hall, the guy who sings, let's chill, let's settle down. That guy who, straight suit and tie R&B singer, was beefing in front of the Apollo and brought a pit bull. I saw this. This is not a rumor. I saw this with my own two eyes. Teddy Riley. Do y'all remember the beef with Tribe Called Quest? To me, this is common knowledge that I think most hip hop people should know. But apparently, a lot of people be on my page and they be talking like they know hip hop. And I'd be like, if you knew hip hop and you knew the streets, you wouldn't judge people just by the fact that they sing R&B or the way they're dressed. Y'all remember the big beef with Teddy Riley and A Tribe Called Quest, all because Fife said, simple line, and we got the jazz, simply hardcore tracks, not a new jack swing. Remember that? That one line caused a whole beef in which Q-Tip got into a big fight with the members of Rex in Effect. And I think it was 93 when this happened. And it was a big brawl. I mean, Q-Tip got hurt in this. Am I speaking stuff that this is to me common knowledge, but let me take it even deeper. I was there at the party when this whole fight broke out. I didn't see the fight, but I saw Q-Tip right before the fight, said what's up to him, and he left. Next thing you know, there was a commotion in another part of the club. Turns out this was this fight. Now, here's what most people don't know. There was another rapper from a rap group around that time, a group that everybody watching this video would know the name of the group. This guy also was caught up in this whole fight with Q-Tip and Rex in Effect. I saw this guy before the fight, and I saw him right after the commotion. He came up to me. His eye was completely closed. He was talking to me like this. His eyes was completely closed. And he was going, yo, Kenny, man, that's effed up. I ain't even have nothing to do with that. And dude stole on me. And he's talking with his eye completely shut. I had just seen him 15 minutes earlier. He was regular. All of this happened because Fife said one line about Teddy Riley from Guy, from Blackstreet, the guy who sings, before I let you go, can I get a kiss? Good night, baby. Them guys. You didn't want any problems with Guy or Teddy Riley. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people, I just want to give you this words of wisdom, don't always judge who's hard and who's tough by who you see in videos and what songs they sing, because some of the hardest dudes and most dangerous guys out there are really quiet, really unassuming. And I'm talking to all my street guys out there who grew up in the hood. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, super hood, but this can apply to any hood. How many times have you seen the loudest dude in the room turn out to be the softest dude in the room? The guy with the big muscles and always talking get mashed out by some quiet, skinny dude that he ran up on. Never judge a book by its cover. And I say that to say, let me bring this around to my group. Based on my comment section in the PM Dawn video, people have BDP, well, some people have BDP ranked as a pretty soft group. We're harder than PM Dawn, so we bullied them, but we're softer than X-Clan and PRT. We would have been scared of them had we seen them. Let me tell you another story. I know I'm going along with you guys, but I really just want to get this out because there's been a lot of misconceptions, and I've been reading these comments, and I really didn't want my channel to take this dark turn. So this is probably the only time I'm going to speak on this. Y'all know the legendary, iconic singer Bob Marley. I was watching a documentary on Bob Marley. This is the most conscious artist probably that ever lived. And all he talked about was peace and love, right? They were saying in the documentary that there was guys around Bob Marley that would have died for him. That's how serious they were about Bob Marley. And there was gangster dudes around him that made radio stations play his record. when he first came out. This is Bob Marley. One of the guys who used to work for Bob Marley passed away in 1981. One of the guys who used to work for Bob Marley, his name was Benji. He later, a few years later, was doing some security for BDP, right around the time of the PM Dawn incident. Benji was never shouted out in any records. He was only in one video. If you look at the BDP Hardcore Live worldwide, if you look at when KRS-One first walks in, he's walking in with some guys and he's talking and he's shaking hands. There's a big guy with a beard next to him. That was Benji. Benji passed away. Rest in peace, Benji. Benji was a great man with a great laugh. I loved Benji. Benji was serious. I've seen Benji in action. Trust me when I tell you, you didn't want any parts of Benji. If somebody had ran up on KRS-One saying, "What, Chris, what? Y'all soft, blah, blah, blah," you probably would have ran into Benji. That's all I'm going to say on that story. And there was a lot, not a lot. There was several people in the BDP circumference that you guys never heard of similar to that. And this is in every group. So a lot of times when there was beefs, different factions of groups knew other people in other groups. So when there was disagreements, sometimes your man would know a man in somebody else's crew, and they would meet up and they would probably smooth it out and bring word back to other people. And that's how a lot of potentially deadly beefs got squashed. All of this stuff happens behind the scenes, and most people have no idea. But just remember this. When you see rap beefs and battles, behind the scenes, there are crews and dudes that sometimes people, they meet up, they be shootouts, people get shot, stabbed. This is all, to me, common knowledge. But I just want to reiterate this for the people in the back who be on my page talking about how they know who's hard and they know who's soft, because this guy had a mean face in the video and this guy didn't have a mean face. And so this guy is hard, this guy is soft. You guys can't even imagine some of the characters that be associated with people that you didn't even know. Look at Tupac, the great Pac. We're just finding out now all of the people that Pac was hanging out with in New York when he used to come here. I'm not going to say anybody's names, but we all know the stories and how he got shot the first time, being caught up in beefs and being caught up around certain people. Then he went to the West Coast and got caught up around certain people. But back then, we never heard about none of these people. Well, let me not say we, because I heard about these people. Most rap people, most people that follow rap never heard about none of these people. So I say all that to say, be careful when you ask, when you encourage beef and want to know and want to see rappers beef, because thank God a lot of beefs got settled behind the scenes. And that's a long answer to the question of X-Clan and PRT and BDP. The X-Clan situation, or X-Clan and PRT, I'm not going to go in depth with those beefs because they were all smoothed out and they were potentially very serious behind the scenes. That's all I'm going to say. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that, because I know I've been talking for a while and everybody be saying that, I'll be going too long with things. But let me rewind back and look at some of these comments. But maybe I'll look at them. Maybe I'll look at the comments after the fact. But yeah, so I'm gonna get into some of the BDP beefs a little later on. But I like to tell a lot of different things because there's a lot of funny stuff and fun stuff that happens in hip hop too, and a lot of unexpected things and a lot of moments that become classic that's unexpected. And I like to talk about that stuff too. And as you guys see in my Epic Fails series that I've been doing, just stuff that I thought was funny that I wanted to tell you guys. I got a few more of those, and then I'm gonna do some breakdowns, and then I'm gonna get into some beefs. For those of you guys that don't know, we've probably had, off the top of my head, 20 beefs over the years since I've been down with different rap groups on different levels. That's a lot of beef that you people wouldn't even be thinking about. And I shouldn't even be speaking on this really because it just digs up old wounds, you know what I mean? And a lot of the people that you have beef with, you end up being friends with. And who needs to dig up old beefs, but I'm gonna get into some of those a little later on. Thank you guys for listening to my little rant. And shout out to Prince B once again. That whole situation with PM Dawn, like I said before, the way it turned out wasn't initially how we had went there. Matter of fact, let me address that real quick too. The PM Dawn situation, like I said in the video, I don't know if all you guys, if you guys didn't see the PM Dawn video that I shot, spoiler alert. We went there initially to battle PM Dawn, and I'm gonna take some responsibility because I don't know if I was clear enough in my video when I said that we went there initially to battle. We didn't go there to put hands on PM Dawn or nothing like that. We went there to battle him. And let me give you all some logic. if a person went to battle, I'm gonna use myself. If I went to get into a fight with somebody and rush somebody in a club, there is no way on earth I'd be carrying records, headphones, and needles and all that stuff in a bag. I wouldn't even enter a club like that. And I'm sure most of you guys watching this wouldn't either. If I knew that my family, my brother was about to get in a brawl, there's no way I would be across the club up in the DJ booth looking down at all of this. That just wouldn't happen. That doesn't even make sense. But the reason why I was up in the booth, up in the thing, because I was up there with my records, getting ready to throw on records whenever Chris grabbed the mic. And it's just, certain people, rest in peace to my dude, certain people just, their nature is different than an artist's nature. And they took it upon themselves to turn up. And once they turned up, it was turned up. So, that's what happened. And if you didn't get that vibe from the video, I'm going to say it now. Things got out of control and BDP took a lot of heat for that. But it is what it is. This thing happened 30 years ago. And, sometimes things happen in life and you just got to stand up. And I'm standing up. This is what happened, and it's unfortunate, but this is what happened. So, and that's all I'm going to say on that. And I'm going to leave that like that. Let me see. Let me figure out how to scroll up and see if anybody has any questions. I've been talking for a minute. Question. Did you produce the classic album Edutainment, and what equipment did you use to make those beats? No. The only song that I worked on Edutainment was the Kenny Parker Show, which KRS-One produced that too. I might do a quick short on the Kenny Parker show because it's like a little funniness that happened, how that record got made. I might do that one too when I do Sex and Violence. That was like a little before, but yeah. Uh when will you do the D Nice story? You know what? I got a real funny D Nice story, but I'm trying to compile like 2 or 3 D Nice stories together. And me and D Nice used to hang out a lot back in the day. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get, you know what, guys, I'm gonna try to get to everything. Believe me, I have so much to get to. I'm just trying to organize how I'm gonna do it and how, what I'm gonna say. And also I'm relatively new at the YouTube game, so I'm still trying to, hone on how I want to tell the stories and what I want to say, and what should I say. Even in this video, I think I've said a lot. And shout out to D Nice. D Nice is the biggest DJ in the world right now. Shout out to my dude. So even with that, I got to be careful what I say. D Nice that the world knows now is not the D Nice that we grew up with in BDP. So I got to be careful how I present the story. But it's funny though, so I'm not worried about that. But I say that to say, I got to be careful how I present stuff, because I'm telling a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know. And I might ruffle some feathers. Let me go back. When are you going to have KRS-One on your show? That would be real dope. Working on that. Chris is all over the place, man. To kind of lock him down, I'd have to be with him. Like, I guess if I go to a show, it's probably, probably to get KRS-One, I'd probably have to have like an iPhone and like, me and him like right there. So it'd probably be like, real raw, but I'm going to get him because I got a lot of questions to ask him that I know you guys want to hear coming from his mouth. Why was the song Essays on BDP is not on any album? This is one of the hottest songs ever. I agree 100%. What a great song. And I think that's the last song that KRS-One and Scott LaRock did together. They did it after Criminal Minded was done. I don't know what it was for, but then Scott passed. So, it was just a song in limbo. And it should have been on. That song should have been on By All Means Necessary to me, but I don't know why. That's a question that Chris would have to answer. KRS and Shan, was that real beef? Once again, I would say between KRS and Shan, that was just artistic. But the other people, between like people in Queensbridge and people in the Bronx, it was way more serious. As a matter of fact, I'm going to speak for BDP. Excuse me. I know for a fact that there were people in BDP behind the scenes that really wanted to turn up for real. Like, if it takes it to that level, they wanted to turn up. Thankfully, it didn't. I go a lot into detail about that beef in the book. Plug in the book once again. I go into a lot of detail about that whole thing. All right. Do you remember meeting Kool Keith? Do you have any stories about him and Ultra? Yes, I used to see Kool Keith all the time. We never really hung out. KRS probably have more stories with Kool Keith. I used to see him all the time. Great guy, but we never like chilled together. Who in the rap industry is KRS close friends with? You mean like, well, that's the question. You mean now or back in the day? I'm just gonna say off the top of my head, of course, Just Ice. Him and Fat Joe are really cool. Kid Capri. Chris is cool with a lot of people, but I would say like this is off just the top of my head. These are people that he like really chill with. I would say those 3 off the top of my head from back in the day anyway. Who would you like to produce who you haven't yet? Shit. Oh, divine essence, divine existence. Everybody. I'm about to get back more into my production. I've been working on the music. I'm working on my book. It took me a while to finish that, but now that's done. And I'm working on the audio book, and then I'm gonna do more music. How did KRS and Miss Melody meet? I'm not sure about that one. How do you feel about Scott LaRock's song comments about KRS-One? I can't get into that at the moment. Your brother would not have wanted you to get caught up. Just Ice was there. Case closed. Hip hop. My brother wanted me to get caught up. I'm not sure caught up what I was going to get caught up in. I'm not sure about that question. The sample used for the Kenny Parker show was used for Lady of Rage, and I believe Corrupt used it too. I didn't hear that, but possibly. Any thoughts on Harmony Pound Cake? Shout out to Harmony. I haven't seen Harmony since the early 90s, man. Shout out to her. Any thoughts on Pound Cake? Was I in the studio when they was working on that? At the time when Chris was working on Harmony, he was working on like 5 different projects at one time. So I probably was in and out of the studio when they was working on that song. Let me move up. There's a lot of stuff. Uncle Luke is undefeated in hip hop beef. That's funny. And that's what I'm talking about when I mean the people that you thinking about are not the people that y'all think is hard aren't the people that's hard. It's people like Uncle Luke. And you don't want to come to you don't want to see Uncle Luke in Florida. That's a good point. Oh man. Some people I'm missing some people thanks for everybody who sent me some who sent money. I really appreciate it. I'm so lost in these comments that I can't even see it anymore. I'm so sorry, but thank you. I saw it go by so fast. Thank you to the people who sent money. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to all this stuff and I lost your comment. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna see it after this. I think I'm gonna go back and look at it. Did anyone, Lawrence Henderson, Kenny, did anyone ever tell you resemble Magic Johnson? All the time. And you know what's funny? This is recent Magic. I look like recent Magic Johnson because when Magic Johnson was in the NBA, nobody never said that. So I must look like Magic look now. Maybe when they do his biopic, maybe I could get that check. Are you involved much with the Temple of Hip Hop? Not so much. I did stuff with, of course, I did stuff with the Temple before, but not now. I haven't really had a chance to do much with the Temple. But yeah, I've done stuff before with the Temple. I got a Temple jacket. I'm an official Temple member, but not recently. Question is, ICU really much darker? ICU is a little darker. Shout out to ICU. You and Heather B went to St. Peter's College in Jersey City. Any fun stories? Tons of fun stories. Heather is a riot, man. I met Heather when she was 17. She was a riot. So every day. Wow, we're getting really late. I'm gonna cut this soon, but somebody shout out DJ Red Alert. Shout to DJ Red Alert. Are you still cool with Just Ice? I love Just Ice. Every time I see Just Ice, my face lights up because he is really a cool guy. You don't want no problems with Just though. He was like the first hip hop Debo. But I know him differently than a lot of people know him. Great guy. Shout out to Just, Sir Vicious. I got a funny Just Ice story coming up too. I'm gonna do a Just Ice story. Um, what else? Great book, great job. QU Hectic, thank you so much. Kenny, do you check your messages on Instagram? Rarely. Uh, yeah, I would say rarely. Why don't you and KRS work more together? I don't know. I would just say timing, and he be doing a lot of projects with a lot of people. Back in the day, we probably should have worked more together. Um, but there's a whole story behind that. I'm gonna get into that when I get into sex and violence. Did you guys ever hear about Bambaataa being a Chester? Boy, that's. I'm gonna say this. In my time, I never heard anything like that. I heard about that stuff when everybody else heard about it. To be honest, I'm gonna leave that right there because there's a lot more to be said on that. But I'm not even gonna get into that at the moment. But nah, I never heard none of that shit. Are you kidding me? Um, Shane's appearance on Drink Champs was a mess. I didn't see that. Was KRS cool with Craig Mack? I don't know if KRS was cool with Craig Mack, but I was super cool with Craig Mack. That was my dude. I knew Craig Mack years before Flavor in Your Ear came out. As a matter of fact, I met Craig Mack with Biz Markie. Me, Biz, and Craig Mack sat in Biz Markie's album. Me, Biz, and Craig Mack sat in Biz's basement in 1990 and listened to the whole America's Most Wanted album, Ice Cube, back and front when it first came out. That's how long me and Craig Mack go back. I miss Craig Mack, great dude. Shout out to him. What was the name of the album that you totally produced for your brother? I called it the BDP album. It came out in 2010. Somebody, Gamma Crush 905. I guess this is something I would have to ask Chris, but was he upset with Super Nat after the battle with Craig G? That's a question you would have to ask KRS, but I'm going to jump out the window and say yes. There's a lot more to that story. I'm going to leave that there. Sorry, y'all. I'm just going to leave that one. But yeah. Hey, Kenny, on Sex and Violence, was there any beef with the songs Prince Paul produced? I'm going to get to that when I do the Sex and Violence breakdown. Let's see, this is moving so fast. I appreciate all you questions, guys. This is getting long. I know this is getting long, man. I know I just be talking, but we just out here on a Monday night. I'm gonna cut this in a minute. I'm just trying to get to as many questions as I can see because this thing is moving fast. Just wanted to say, been enjoying your series. Thank you guys so much. Anybody who's enjoyed what I'm doing, I really appreciate it, y'all. I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to get all this stuff out. And I got so much to get out. I've seen a lot of stuff. I'm not trying to, brag. I just happen to be in the vicinity of so much craziness, funny stuff, historic stuff, scary beef stuff. And I'm going to get to all of it. Stick with me, guys. What happened to Jamal Ski? He went off to do his album, basically. He got a deal with Sony and he stepped off. I mean, that's a long story short, but I don't know too much. I wasn't like involved in that too much. Shout out to Jamal Ski, that's my dude. But basically, how I understand it, he just went and did his album. Did record company try to ban 13 and Good? I'm gonna get to that deep when I do the sex and violence thing. I don't want to give that away, but I'm gonna get into that. How did KRS squash beef with Cube? I wasn't there. As I understand it, it was just conversation. Two guys got on the phone and just, it wasn't, I don't want to call it beef. It wasn't beef. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? Annoyance? That's not a word. It wasn't beef like, when I see you, it's on. It was just like, yo, I didn't appreciate what you said, kind of thing. And they, they talked it out. I wasn't part of that conversation once again. I don't even want to put words in people's mouth. Matter of fact, disregard that because it could have been something else. But how I understand it, they just spoke about it. But I don't want to, I don't want to ever say anything on this channel that I'm not sure about. So I'm gonna tell you, this is my rule. If I didn't see it with my own two eyes or got it from what I consider a very credible source, meaning the person who told me saw it with their own two eyes. If it's two people removed, I'm going to consider that a rumor. So everything that I tell you guys on this channel is either what I saw or somebody saw this who I believe is credible and told me this. Otherwise, I'm just going to say I don't know. And if I get something wrong, you guys please fact check me. I'm just trying to document things as accurate as possible. So if I get something wrong, you guys fact check me. But, my recollection of things, this is how I remember things from 25 and 30 years ago. So with the KRS and Ice Cube, my understanding is they spoke a few times. But my understanding is that they spoke and it was water under the bridge. What's your favorite beat you produce for BDP or KRS-One? I have a few on the same level. I'm gonna go with We In There only because that's the first song I ever did with him. That's the very first song. So it's like, has like a little special place because, when I do music for Chris, I have to submit beats just like everybody else. And, he happened to pick that. He picked a few beats of mine for that album, and I'm happy that he did that. I'm gonna get into that when I do the sex and violence breakdown. I'm gonna get into all that. But good question. Jizza, thank you so much for the contribution. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We are here for the history. Totally looking forward to your stories. Thank you. I know I'm going long with this stuff, but just some stuff I just wanted to clear up. I'm a person that likes details. I'm finding, some people don't really like, some people be like, oh, you could have told this story in 5 minutes and you took 25 minutes. But I like details. So I'm a person, if you don't like details, this is probably not the channel for you. This channel is not going to be for everybody. I say that over and over, but it's for certain people that love hip hop like I do, love to hear, the quirky stuff, love details, and I'm going to peel back the layers of this game. This hip hop game is not what you think it is, guys. Believe me, and I'm going to get into all of it, the business side, all of it. Somebody said my damn phone about to die. Always the worst time. Lugo. Yeah, I know. I'm going long. I'm about to cut this in about a minute. It's just moving so fast. Let me go back. Let me go back. Are are you anti-trap beats like myself? I'm not anti-trap beats. It's just not my demographic. It's not my generation. There's some trap once in a while. You know, I DJ in clubs a lot right now, and I play a lot of the new stuff. I DJ in clubs with a lot of the younger audience, and a lot of the songs I don't even know what they're saying. I just know I play it because they like it. They could be speaking another language as far as I'm concerned. Some of the stuff I don't even know what they're talking about. But this is their music. It's not for me, man. And I have to accept that. This is their music. Sadly. um, did Fat Joe interview for his podcast? No, I would love to do that. Um, people have short attention spans, so the details will go over some people's heads. Yeah, I know. I mean, we're living in an era of, TikTok, get in, get out, 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, people got to go, and I understand that. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to tell stories and details the way I see it. And, believe me, I'm catching a lot of flack for this for some reason. I'm surprised. But I'm sticking to that. If you don't want the details and it's too long, there's plenty of channels with 5-minute sound bites. All right, I'm getting out of here, y'all, in 1 minute. What happened between Just Ice and Heavy D? I'm not sure. I never heard of that. Which brother was a Rasta? That's funny. Talking about ICU. I'm gonna go with ICU on that. You broke my arm. I'm not sure what that is. Do you remember JVC Force? Ralph Kiner. Kiner? Of course I do. They were on B-Boy Records. Remember that record? That record was banging. Shout out to JVC Force. I think I've met them too. Would you consider playing in Ice Cube's 3-on-3 B-Ball tournament? Nah, I'm too old for that. Those are pros, man. Those are NBA players. I don't want that smoke. Dope for him, though. Dope for him. Mac Million, thank you so much. I appreciate you. KRS-One is my favorite rapper of all time. He's my favorite rapper of all time, too, not just because he's my brother. Amazing artist. All right, y'all. I'm about to we've been going for an hour. I'm gonna get off. Thank you guys so much for checking in. Thank you for listening to my rant. Don't believe everything that you see and hear in the source and the videos. It's all bullshit. Not all of it, but a lot of it. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.